ReefDudes is sponsored by Ecotech Marine and Bulk Reef Supply.
Today we're talking about why you need a lid on your aquarium. What's going on, guys? Devin from ReefDudes. Now, we all love aquariums. These little fish, they're friends. We feed them, we take care of them. You can have them for years and years and years, and they are your little buddies. They are your pets. And if you don't put a top in your aquarium, they can and will jump. I know lots of people think, certain fish aren't going to jump, but you know what? Eventually it's going to happen. So it is your responsibility to keep them safe by putting a top on your aquarium. Now, if you want to see some of the budget options, I've done tons of videos on DIY aquarium tops over the years, and I will link some of those in the cards in the description below. But today we're going to take a look at one of the premium options. On my water box tank, I had a custom lid made from Top Lids, and it was phenomenal, thing of beauty. Not the cheapest, but beautiful thing. So I did a bit of a collaboration with them now to get some new kind of custom stuff done. So today we're going to put a top on the NAS Tank. Now, this box has been sitting here all week taunting me. I've held off opening it until I had a chance to film a video on it, but I'm super stoked for it. They tried some new things with this lid, which I'm really stoked to check out. Now, it makes me sad, but a couple weeks ago, I had one of my clownfish jump out of my tank, and that sucked because I've had him for years and years and years and years. So that was sad. It definitely made me realize that yes, I definitely do need to get a lid on my tank. So here we are, we got one ordered up, and yeah, super stoked to check this out. So I did go ahead and ordered lids for both of my tanks. I went one step further and even got an evaporation cover for it, just so it doesn't get so humid in here in the winter. Now this little beauty is going to be for my Hello Reef Nano. Ultra clear polycarbonate. As usual, always a thing of beauty. I am super stoked for this guy, and I do really appreciate the black mesh. Look at that. Now hopefully I measured well. We're going to see how this baby fits. I don't know why it's always satisfying to peel this stuff off, but it is. Yes, I have had a clown jump out of here as well, which is why we got a lid. Oh, look at that, fits perfectly. And we do have our little feeding door on top, so it's a nice easy way to feed the tank without having to pop it off. Now, if you want to they also have a really cool feeder cup, which can drop right into that hole. You can throw your frozen food in there and let it dissolve and go throughout the tank, which is a really cool way to do it. Now, this is the first lid ever done from them for a Hello Reef, so I was a little bit of a guinea pig on that, and it does fit it perfectly well, so I'd say I did pretty well on the measurement, so super stoked for that. Yeah, pretty darn pristine, so definitely happy about that guy. Now I'm super stoked to see this one for the NAS Tank. Beautiful. Now the cool thing with this is I had it custom made with just a feeding door in the corner I access and cutouts for the Radion light mounts, as well as some evaporation covers. Now, I don't know about you, but in a small office with a big volume of water, it gets humid in here. So during the winter, I can use these guys to keep the room at a reasonable humidity level. And check this out, a color engraved ReefDudes logo. Super duper stoked for that. That looks wicked. This is definitely something new they tried with it, and I'm pretty stoked with how that came out. Check that out. That looks awesome. Super duper cool. Really stoked on how you guys did that in color and engraved. That's so cool. Now the moment of truth. Let's see how this baby fits. We got this guy, which will clip in right around the plank like a glove. I love that black and clear. I think it looks super cool. And the black mesh really is the way to go. Now it's been a couple hours and I came back to check on it, and there is no humidity on these. They still look pristine and clear, minus my fingerprints. So the polycarbonate with the evap covers works phenomenally well. There is venting kind of all around the perimeter of it. Now this design, this is called like their luxury series. So this is Top Lid's luxury line. It lets you do custom stuff like the evaporation covers, custom color engraved logos, which I think is freaking super cool, and like custom cutouts and stuff. Now this is, extra polished, all that jazz. So they're absolutely a thing of beauty, and I do love them. They also have their standard, or I guess they call it professional line, which is more, I don't know if they would call it cookie cutter, but it's more what you order. You click through the website, it's pre-measured, has all the common settings for you, where the luxury ones, you can do a lot more customizations on it. Now I'll show you those as well, because we do have one. Now this is what we consider the professional line. So this one does have a center brace in it, which you're gonna have in the larger lids. Smaller ones you will not. It is still ultra super duper clear. This one came with the white mesh, so it's kind of a good way to see the comparison of the two. Still super duper clear. I know the luxury one has, extra polish and super diamond edges and all that jazz, but they're both honestly gorgeous lids. Pop this baby on the tank to kind of give you a side-by-side. It's also a really good chance to take a look at the clear versus the black mesh. I am definitely partial to the black, mainly because it doesn't reflect light. If you look at this, it's very subtle, where this one, it definitely reflects a lot more. Now I speculate that this one probably lets a little more par through, or this one blocks a bit more, but that's a bit of a trade-off, which you gotta decide if that works for you. Personally, I'm fine with that because aesthetically, I like how this doesn't highlight the light, it kind of just blends in. Now, they are both gorgeous tops. Like, who are we kidding here? Like, they both look awesome on the tank. They're both, you know, pristine, perfect cut to the tank. You know, even if you got your lights, whatever mounts, cutouts you got in there, there's little cord holes so you can sneak your cords in, and it keeps everything really nice and clean. They also have this little cutout in the middle, so you have your little feeding door, which you could insert something like a feeder cup, so you could just throw your frozen food in there and let it just thaw and fall into the tank. So that's a super cool feature. Or just drop your food in and you don't even have to worry about taking your top off to feed the fish. So it keeps everything nice and clean. Now the data nerd in me wants to wonder, what is the difference in par levels between the black and the clear mesh? So let's test it and find out. I'm also curious how much of a difference the evaporation cover makes in par. So we're gonna do a few tests here and kind of go through it and see what impact the top has on your light levels. Now keep in mind, you could always just bump up your light a little bit, a few more percent to compensate for it, but let's see what the impact is. Now because there's slightly different cutouts, we're gonna have to pick a spot on the rock to use as kind of our base point to test from. So we'll start with doing no top at all. 190 to 215, so we'll just say it's about 200 average. 175, so we'll say about 25 par difference with the clear lid, so not too bad, small impact, nothing huge. Now, how does it compare to the black mesh? This is what I'm curious of, because I'm always very partial to the black mesh. I just love that look. I think it looks gorgeous. So if we average out about 145, and the other one was about 170, so we are getting about 30 more par difference. So with the black mesh, it's about 50 to 60 par less versus about 25 par with the clear mesh. So it absolutely does make a difference on that perspective. What's the next level? What if we add an evaporation cover? How's that going to affect par? Well, let's find out. 125, 130, and if I pop it off, it's jumped up to about 145. So 30 to 40, so it takes about another 10-ish par off from the equation. Yeah, so not terrible. I'm gonna say 10 or 12 par difference from the evaporation cover, so not bad. These are super duper clear, so that definitely does help. So there you guys go, two very different but both very awesome designs from top lids. And this one's our professional, this one is our luxury. This one we got the clear mesh, this one we got the black mesh. The professional one, we do have a center brace in it, and it's a frameless, no center brace design on the luxury one. It does have this cutouts around the perimeter to reinforce it, which works very well if you decide to do an evaporation cover, because it still lets airflow all around it. And after my test of leaving the clear polycarbonate cover on for a couple hours, there was no humidity, so the ventilation around it still works very well. Now, taking a look at these two designs, which one you go with, you know, is obviously up to you. If you order something that is on the professional line, it is something that's going to ship very quickly. They have the standard kind of feeding ports and cutouts and, you know, standard issues, so it makes it real easy for them to just pump it out. Or if you do something like the luxury line, you know, you got custom stuff like this where I have a feeding there for the plank. You know, they'll ask you for some measurements and they'll kind of work with you to make sure it's perfect for your tank. So if you have a custom tank or something that's not just a cookie cutter off the shelf tank, the luxury gives you a lot of cool flexibility. Or if you want something that just, you know, something extra cool over the norm, they can definitely do that. So super duper cool. And if we come back to the Nano, this is another one which would be on their professional line. So yeah, both very gorgeous lids. This one obviously did the black mesh on it, just because I like how that comes in. But looking at our par test, it definitely does make a difference in par. But in my opinion, it's worth it. So hopefully that helps all you data nerds out there decide which way to go, you know, professional, luxury, DIY. It's all up to you. But if you're looking for a premium style lid, top lids is definitely up there on my list. I've used them in the past for my water box. And of course I went with them again for these tanks because they're phenomenal, they're gorgeous, they hold up well. And yeah, they're definitely one of the classier looking lids in my opinion. As always guys, hopefully you enjoyed this. If you did, be sure that like button. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. And if you want to check out some of the top lids, I will have a link in the description. Alright guys, catch you on the next video.